I fell asleep last night during the game. The Chargers were up 27-0. Did I miss anything?
Hey, this is Scott Long. You missed nothing. Oh, what do we do here? Well, we drink, we eat, we gamble, and we're the only show left that's live from Indianapolis on football. Tune in, all Indiana bets now.
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. We are all Caesars.
We got a little drama going on right here.
You take care of it, Hammer. I have this show on lockdown. It's the Scott Show again. Go fix it. Go get a drink. Already, here we are. If you haven't been paying attention, as I mentioned early, wow. No Colts shows anywhere. What happened? Playoffs. Whoa. But there is a reason we're also on. Look at that. Geniuses. One of us is still here even. What's that number? Is it 13, 5, and 2 against the spread? Saturday and Sunday. Hottest prognosticators. That means dudes that pick football games. Here we are. Another week of winning you money. So, wow, what is on tap today? Playoffs. Playoffs? I think that's been heard here in Indianapolis, maybe a few too many times. Let's look at these exact bets. I put these on. This is called Call Your Own Shot, Caesars Sportsbook. Hammer came back for that one even. We're working on some new mics here. How do you feel about these, Hammer? Have you looked at these?
Is there a prop bet on whether or not my microphone's going to work? Is that up there at like plus 750 or plus 800? I'm not sure.
No sportsbook would handle any of those because they know that there's always something going on here.
The one that has my attention here is the Bills and the 49ers. I like that at plus 1,000. For me, it comes down to the Chiefs and the Bills and the AFC. I think by far and away they're the two best teams. And for Josh Allen and this Buffalo squad, they've had their hearts broken. They've had it ripped out of their chest before. Sometimes to get over that hump, you got to have a little heartbreak, right? When Peyton Manning finally beat Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game, you knew he was going to win the Super Bowl. You look at the NBA, you've had the Pistons, they couldn't get past the Celtics. The Bulls, they couldn't get past the Pistons. It kind of feels like that's the way for the Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Super Bowl right now. Man, I like Buffalo here, and I love what the 49ers are doing. Brock Purdy is rolling. Can he be that good all the time? That I don't know, but that offense, that defense is rolling.
I would have been with you until the movement of the AFC Championship game to a dome. I don't want to play the Chiefs in a dome. They are built for a dome. They're outside. It's kind of a miracle. They're the one exception to all rules. If Mahomes is playing in a dome, I'm sorry, they've got too much speed. They've got too much quickness.
Now, for those who don't know, this game is going to be played in Atlanta.
In Atlanta because of the situation that happened with the Bills and the Bengals game. I have to go with the Chiefs in there, and everything you said about the 49ers. The 49ers are so talented, you just almost feel anybody could play quarterback right now. They got more weapons than even the Chiefs.
That trade to bring in McCaffrey late season, normally you see that in like the NBA or Major League Baseball where one dude, and that's a dude, can be dealt midway and it makes a big difference. I'm a Cubs fan. When they acquired the flamethrower to be their closer, that was the thing that put them over the top in the World Series here, Aroldis Chapman. You don't normally see that in the NFL, but that trade to acquire McCaffrey, I think put the 49ers over the top here. All right, so let's get down to business here. Scott, you and I had a great weekend last weekend.
We did.
You celebrated it. Let's do it again this weekend. Get us rolling.
Why not? That's what I would say. Now, I'll put these on because I feel like they've been lucky. Let's talk about...
Here we go. Let's go.
Baltimore.
Let's go.
And Cincinnati. This is a home divisional matchup. You would look at the total spread is very high. But this is even weird because, what is it, 8.5 now?
8.5.
8.5 for the game. 6 in the first half. I like getting 6 points in the first half. Hammer might have some stats on this, but the second half and Joe Burrow, I don't want any part of. That guy totally cranks it up. Who's going to play quarterback for the Ravens? I don't know for sure. Huntley's not great. Brown was terrible last week. I feel like it's another weird situation they played last week. Who gave away more than that? Very strange game on many levels. I just think Harbaugh will ugly the game up. This will be a field goal game in the first half. Second half, probably that's the time to jump on the Bengals.
So that Ravens defense is good enough
Very good.
to stick around in the first half.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, all those 3 and outs, and you have to think that's what's coming for Baltimore today. All those 3 and outs is going to wear that defense down. And that's where my pick comes in of the Cincinnati Bengals -3.5 in the second half. So there's a way you could win twice on this game. You go with Scott's pick in the first half, and then you go with mine in the second. Why am I hitching my wagon to Cincinnati in the second half? 1, they're better. Number 2, they're at home. And number 3, as Scott alluded to, look at Joe Burrow in the second half of games this year. 12-4 against the spread in the second half. Now, if my Beech Grove High School math is correct here, that's around 77%. So give me Joe Burrow second half -3.5. This is a game where the Ravens defense is going to get worn out. Nobody thinks the Ravens are going to put up a big number here. Ravens aren't putting up 30 points today. Take Cincinnati. They're going to beat them down and run away in the second half.
Hammer, I'm joining you on that. So I'm going to play both sides second half, depending on what happens in the first half. For me, 27-8-1 over the last 2 years in the second half for the Bengals with Joe Burrow.
And this is what's fun about sports betting,
Yeah.
right? Unless you're a Bengals or a Ravens fan
Right.
and you're vested into this game, you're a football fan. You want to watch, you want to see a good game, and you've got action in the first half, you've got action in the second half. If you would have taken this approach during the college football national championship game,
Right.
even the second half could have been enjoyable for you, at least for a little bit.
Yesterday, we weren't on. Because we're no longer on, by the way, if you didn't notice, on Saturdays. College football's over. We're on at 11. Did you notice that, too? Those are 2 things. I hope you did, because you'd be here. What I would share also, yesterday, I came out on my Twitter, Scott Comedy. What's yours, by the way?
At Jason Allen Hammer.
And I did a little video and said, take the Chargers first half.
Boom.
Then you could have taken the Jags second half. That's what we're doing here. This is a fun way. This makes games that maybe you're not that into, you're into.
And you can also listen to my radio program because I loved yesterday's games a lot more than today's games. That was easy money yesterday. Now, you were sweating a little bit if you had the Jags.
What?
+2 or money line.
Sweating?
Just a little bit. 27-0, 4 picks. There's a little few beads coming down there. But at the end of the day, tickets cashed, toes tapped, 2-0. So check that out as well. All right, going to take a little break here. When we come back, maybe you haven't noticed, but the Colts are not in action anytime soon. Who's going to be the head coach? We've got some odds to break down when we come back.
All Indiana Bets is presented for the people by Caesar Sportsbook, the only sports betting app you need.
Thank you for spending your Sunday with your favorite TV pals
Here we are.
at All Indiana Bets. I'm Jason Hammer. That is Scott Long. Again, we got more playoff picks coming up here in just a little bit, but let's talk about the Colts. This is a show called All Indiana Bets, so let's make a bet about the Indianapolis Colts. Who's going to be the next head coach?
Yeah.
The odds are posted. Here are some of the names of interest. You've got Harbaugh, +300.
That sounds good.
Eric Bieniemy, +600. A guy that I'm kind of intrigued by, Ben Johnson, +650 of the Lions. Then we get into Leslie Frazier, Jeff Saturday back at +1,000.
No.
Raheem Morris. Scott Long, who do you like out of this bunch?
Our producer, Peter, he was like upset with me because I would not allow him to put any of these names on the graphic. That's the kind of absolute power that my delusional brain runs with. Put me on the screen. I'm going to tell you right now, it's Harbaugh or no one on that list, in my opinion. We don't need another guy coming in who's not having like any head coaching experience. I just see a bunch of names without, hey, Jeff Saturday's got more head coaching experience than Ben Johnson. Should he be Ben Johnson had 1 season with the Lions. I would say it was pretty impressive.
If you get Jared Goff to put up big numbers in Detroit, I think it's worth a look. I do. They've got to go offense, right? They've got to find an offensive coach. If you're going to draft a rookie quarterback, which is that's what it looks like, you want somebody that's got an offensive mind.
I like Flores a lot. I think he did a great job in Miami. Really, if you look at the statistics, they're almost identical. It's just the defense was really good in Miami, and all of a sudden they bring in Tyreek Hill, and the offense gets good in Miami. He didn't have a Tyreek Hill there. If Flores would do something smart, I think he'd be the next coach. Instead of suing the NFL, he should sue Daniel Snyder. Jim Irsay will hire you tomorrow on that one.
Okay, all right.
I would want Harbaugh.
All right, but that's you. Put yourself in the mind of Jim Irsay.
Oh, wait a minute.
Let's say you've got your cowboy hat on, you've got your sunglasses on, you're listening to music by an artist named Kenny. Who are you bringing in to coach this football team?
Is there a salary cap on coaches? There's not, is there? That's where you can take the money. I'd spend what I need to get Harbaugh, tell Harbaugh, okay, hey, who do you want there to be my quarterback with Jim Harbaugh? Harbaugh has, I think his winning percentage is over 700 in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh is weird. Jim Irsay's weird.
Everybody on this show is a little weird.
We're really weird. It sounds perfect for all Indiana bets. Let's bring him in, and we would damage Michigan too.
All right, so what we learned there is that Scott wants Harbaugh, but has no idea who Jim Irsay is going to pick. And I think that's pretty fair.
Yes, it would concern me if I knew.
Give me your second official play of the day today, Scott.
Put them on, that's what I do. Look at that. Miami, under 14.5. What is that, Scott? Okay, there are options, especially when it comes to playoffs. It's hard to find a really tight, good line that you want to take advantage of in these playoff games. There's a reason, as Hammer and I always talk about, why all these buildings are so big in Las Vegas. They got it figured out. But where I love this game is I don't see how Miami scores. I don't. Skylar Thompson, third-string quarterback, coming in, first game in Buffalo. I think both teams are going to be very conservative on offense. Buffalo knows the only way they lose is if they give the game to Miami. So I like the under 14.5 on Miami. Team total, that would be my play.
So I'm going to keep it on that same game today.
Okay.
Dolphins at the Bills. I'm looking at the Bills here, and the number is 8.5. That is what I'm taking Buffalo in the first half. So I'm with Scott. I don't see how Miami puts up very many points today. But look how low of a number this is. The Bills are going to be jacked up. They're at home. They get rocking and rolling up in Buffalo. And if you think Buffalo can score on, let's say, just 3 possessions, and hell freezes over and the Dolphins score on 1, you still win this because it's under 9. So if you think the Dolphins can actually score 1 time, but the Bills can score 3 times, I think that's a fair bet. And 8.5, I am cashing this ticket here. Honestly, the Bills may score more than 3 times. Dolphins might not score at all. Unless Buffalo shoots themselves in the foot with field position or turnovers or something like that. This is the play for me. The line is big in this game. The Dolphins going with a guy named Skylar Thompson as their quarterback. A guy named Skylar Thompson sounds like he should be the front man of a lead singer or of an Incubus cover band or something. Give me 8.5, first half, Buffalo Bills. All right, take a little break here. When we come back, we have got more playoff games for you. Plus, later in the show, we've got prop bets, we've got booze, we've got food. Did I mention the booze? That's how we get down right here at All Indiana Bets.
The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
And what we are drinking today is a little Evan Williams Fire.
So good.
Fire. You know why? Because our picks have been on fire, and nothing has been hotter than the long shot with my friend Scott Long. He finds an underdog. He finds plus money. You are the recipient of the winnings. What do we got?
So you heard a lot about Scott talking about, well, it's really hard to find a line that you can directly play, but there's one. And it's called the New York Giants. I can't imagine at the start of the season I could have seen the Giants even in the playoffs, let alone being in this situation where I'm playing them on the road with 3 points. Here's what's going on. Danny Jones. Daniel T. Jones. I don't know what his middle name is, but I hope it's T. He should be Daniel T. Jones from Duke. Never thought anything of him, but this... It's Daniel Stephen Jones. I don't like it.
It's spelled with a T. The T is silent.
Yes, yeah. Like Czar. Czar, T-S-A-R. Don't play Scrabble against Scott. What am I saying? I don't even remember, except that Danny T. Jones is playing lights out football, and it's about the coach, Dayball. It's not even a question in my mind who the best coach in the NFL has been that came out of all the rookie coaches. Dayball wins. I'd put him right there with Tomlin. I love them in this spot. The Giants, did you see them against the Colts? They are ascending. The Vikings, descending. Then you throw in that the Vikings line is broken. Offensive line broken. Did you see that defensive line hammer against the Colts? Nick Foles didn't see it until it was too late. And then there's snow angels. It was awful. And that's what's going to happen today. Love the Giants in this spot. Should be a good game, but I'll tell you, don't just sprinkle. Dump some money on the money line, too.
I'll have thoughts on that game coming up here in just a little bit.
I'm sure you got a more important game.
Yes. Not every game can be a 10, Scott. Not every game can be one where you change your plans to watch. And this brings us to the Degenerate Special. The money you would win on this game, Quinnipiac and Mount St. Mary's, spends the same as if you're betting on the Vikings and Giants or the Dolphins and the Bills. So let's get into a little MACtion. Not MACtion. We're not talking about the Mid-American Conference. We're talking about the Middle Atlantic Athletic Conference. The MAC with 2 A's. That's how good of a game this is. They've doubled up the A's. Quinnipiac, they're actually pretty good. Coming into this game at 13-5, going on the road to Mount St. Mary's. Been a struggle for Mount St. Mary's. 4 games under 500. This is a 2 o'clock tip today on a Sunday. And based on being a degenerate my whole betting life, what I've noticed is that if it's a getaway day, that's what I call a Sunday, and it's a 2 o'clock tip-off, the better team usually rolls. The line is only 6 here. Quinnipiac comes in on a 4-game heater. They have covered the spread the majority of the time this season. It's a big number for a conference game. 6 it is, but I still like Quinnipiac here. The Bobcats over the Mountaineers. Don't watch any NFL playoff action today. Cancel your plans with your kids. You're not doing anything around the house. You're going to find a way to illegally stream Quinnipiac and Mount St. Mary's, and that, my friends, is your Degenerate Special.
If you don't know a lot about gambling, a game like that, you probably can't get more than $100 down on that game. Because if you have any knowledge of the game, they're going to want to put a lot of money on it. They're going to think that you've spoken to someone. Because who in Indiana would even put? They're going to be like, "Is there something going on?" And they're like, "People are following Hammer." They're like, "Oh, that's okay."
The folks at Caesars. Wow, we're big in Indiana with Quinnipiac. Wow. Quinnipiac, by the way, famous for their political polling.
Yes.
It's usually wrong, but they're famous for it.
You did it last year. It's still funny this year.
Thank you. Hey, we got more picks coming up. We've got some prop bets. We've got our Lunazol locks. And we've got some barbecue coming later in the show. Tailgate food, tailgate drinks. It's how we roll. All Indiana Bets is coming back.
The Lunazul Lock is brought to you by Lunazul Tequila.
I love our sponsors. I love our sponsors. We've got Evan Williams. We've got Lunazul Tequila, all part of the big family here. Thank you so much for joining us. We're having a good time. Yeah. Hopefully you're having a good time checking out the show, but I bet you'll have a better time if you win. Yes. Now, Scott, give me your Lunazul lock because you have been on fire.
Fire holding fire. Look at those picks.
This man is on fire. Somebody cue up Alicia Keys here. 34 and 16.
Didn't help you at all. 4-0 college basketball. I'm going back to college basketball today, and I'm not going degenerate. I'm going to go with a game that you're interested in.
Boo.
Hey, those spend the same too, and you'd actually like to watch. Here is Michigan coming off a brutal loss in overtime to Iowa. Indiana fans, you know how that goes? It does. Another comeback win for Iowa. Michigan play Northwestern, who has been feisty. Northwestern went into Bloomington and won. They have a winning record in the Big Ten. This is the time of year when talent starts taking over. Michigan is loaded with 4 and 5 stars. This is a must win for Michigan if they're going to stay in tournament action. I like them. There's not a lot of points. 4.5. Give me the Wolverines. It should be an interesting game. I usually like the Wildcats because they keep games close. That's not the right points. It would have been 10 at the start of the year. 4.5. Pick and choose your spots with college basketball. See where you're situationally going. That's my advice for today.
I'm going to bring it back to the NFL playoffs here. And again, I think the best game of the day is the Giants and Vikings. I anticipate blowouts in the other games. I really do. I'm sorry. But I like this game a lot, and I'm going under in Giants at Vikings. This is the second time these two teams have played, I believe it was Christmas Eve, and it was a shootout. So you're probably asking yourself, why are we going under? Because now you've seen film, now you've got tape, and the intensity takes it up a notch in the postseason here. I think you're going to see some mistakes made. Does anybody have faith in Kirk Cousins when the lights are bright to perform his best and put up a big number? I don't. And it's not like Daniel Jones, who's been pretty good this year, but it's not like he's the second coming of Tom Brady or Peyton Manning in his prime here. So I think you're going to see a lot of Saquon Barkley. The Giants will try to throw the ball. We'll get into a prop bet with Daniel Jones a little bit later. They'll try to throw the ball. But this is the second time they've met. You're going to see a little bit better defensive effort on both sides. The number's going to be close, but it's going to be under 48.
Nope. I got to mention a couple things in that game. A weird deal, like 5 to 12 seeds in the March Madness.
Right. 12 usually always beats a 5.
Right. 6 seeds over the last 5 years are 9-1 against the spread. There you go. Giants, one of those. Also, Daniel Jones, amazing as a dog. And this year, the Giants are 13-4 against the spread, best in the NFL. Who says we don't get analytical and nerdy? Look at these two nerds hanging out drinking.
And if you like the Giants in that one, I don't think they win because it's a shootout. No, I don't. I think we're going under. All right, when we come back, we've got some player bets that you can make. We call it Prop, Lock, or Drop It, your favorite prop bets of Wild Card Sunday, coming up next on All Indiana Bets.
This is America's new favorite show.
It is.
Prop, Lock, or Drop It. First up, Giants visiting the Vikings. We have talked about it. Daniel, it doesn't say in the prompter, it's Daniel T. Jones. Danny T. Jones.
The T is silent.
Over under, pass attempts set at 33.5. Do you lock? Do you drop?
Now, I'm going to lock this one in, and here's the reason why. You got to remember, pass attempts to your running back, short checkdowns to your tight ends, they count the same as trying to hit the home run ball down the field here. I think this game is going to be an under in terms of the game. But if you're the Giants, you have to try to throw the ball. Minnesota's defense stinks. Colts fans, you saw Minnesota's defense. It stinks. The Giants will absolutely try to throw the ball. Will they have success? I don't know. I think the Vikings might make a little bit of an adjustment, but Daniel Jones threw the ball over 40 times the last time these two teams played on Christmas Eve. So now you've got about 10 lower than that? Absolutely, lock it in.
Next up, Bengals hosting the Ravens. Running back Joe Mixon, over-under for receptions, set at 3.5. Hammer goes deep.
We are locking this bad boy in. December 11th, that was the last time that Joe Mixon had less than 3.5 yards receiving in a game. Take away the game that got canceled, obviously, but the Bengals throw the ball to Joe Mixon. I think you're going to see that today, and I think this Bengals offense rolls. That's an over. Lock it in.
Bills hosting the Dolphins. Buffalo kicker Tyler Bass.
We're doing kicker props, baby. Here we go.
Hammer
Ride the lightning.
Over-under for total points set at 7.5. Will the Bills try to rely on field goals? I have a theory. What's yours?
My theory is no. I think the Bills find the end zone. And you look at the stats, Bass hasn't had over 7.5 points in a game in over a month. Kind of like the Joe Mixon trend. You've got to go back to like mid-December for him to have less than that, and that's because the Bills get in the end zone. They don't settle for field goals. I think they score a lot of points today, but I don't think they're field goals. Under, drop this one down.
Disagree on that one. I think they're just going to desperately try to score points because they don't think the Dolphins can. Differing points of view.
Okay, all right.
Last one, Cowboys, Bucks, over-under. I'm getting excited for this game. Monday night, Dallas QB, wow, Dak Prescott. He has sucked lately. And he said at
That's the kind of breakdown you get here at All Indiana Bets.
And it's factual as could be. 0.5, do you lock, do you drop?
So you're asking me
Yes.
if I think Dak Prescott is going to throw an interception in a playoff game.
Yes.
Here are the things you can count on. Death, taxes, and Dak Prescott throwing picks in a playoff game. Look, I think this is going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to watching it. I'll have a pick on this one coming up. I think Scott will as well.
Yeah.
But yes, Dak Prescott's going to throw a pick. All you need is a tipped pass, a Hail Mary that goes awry. Trevor Lawrence threw 4 of those bad boys in the first half last night, still found a way to win the game. All you need is one from Dak Prescott, who's going to be pressing. The pressure is on. Yes, you lock this one in as an over.
This show just keeps rolling. It's going to be final picks. We're going to try to at least go 3-2, 4-1 today. Don't go anywhere. We have winners and food, and we're drinking now.
I need a refill, actually. I'm going to get a drink here.
Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Your first bet is on Caesars. Bet up to $1,250. And if you don't win, you'll get it back as a free bet. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and over.
Man, this drink just hits better.
Yeah.
Like the Evan Williams Fire just hits better knowing you've got playoff games to watch today. But let's just say you can't make it to the store. You have things to do today. We have playoff games on Monday this year. Monday Night Football playoff game, and it's a good one. We've got the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. Scott, who do you got?
So let me begin by telling you I initially loved the Cowboys' first half. There's a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason is, let me grab my board.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to grab
look
my
out.
board.
Here we go.
I've got it right here. This is the
We're
board.
going full Karl Rove right now.
Well,
Karl Rove
Steve
of the gambling
Karnacki,
world is here.
whatever. You can tell what station Hammer watches. I don't watch any of them. I watch football.
What do you got?
Brady, 2-16 against the spread starting at night. Ooh, did you know that, Hammer? The Bucks, 4-12 against the spread, 4-12-1 this year.
How much Evan Williams Fire did you have while writing that? Look
Tom
at that
Brady,
handwriting.
though,
Good
is
Lord.
10-2 against the Cowboys. And let's think about this. The last time the Cowboys have won a road playoff game, 1993. Troy Aikman retired in 2000. This is how pathetic the Cowboys franchise is. So what does that have to do with my pick? I can't figure out this game, except I don't think both teams are going to score 22.5 points. I think this is defense, especially on the Bucs side. First half, I don't know what's going to happen in the second half, except Brady will probably win the game.
Okay, all right, so I'm going to take all of the lunacy that you just heard from whatever that was.
Factual.
And I'm going to take that into my pick, and yes, as crazy as that was, and I don't even know what was on that board or what was yelled, I liked it. I was here for it. There it is. Look at that. I like Tampa Bay in this game. Why? Because one, the old man, say what you want about him, he's had a rough year. He's changed his home life just a little bit. The old man is playing some ball right now. This is not the time you want to go on the road and play Tom Brady. It's not. And all the pressure in the world is on Dak Prescott and the Cowboys here. Road favorites, America's team. Everybody thinks that they're choke artists. They've got all the pressure. Tom Brady, he's at home. He's got the points here. I will scoop up those points. I think Dak Prescott throws an interception. And like Scott said, Cowboys don't have some long history of winning playoff games on the road. Give me the Tampa Bay football Buccaneers. I will take the 2.5 points. Old man strength over America's team. All right. Now, our producer, Peter, he's the guy that does the teasers on this program. We call the segment Don't Tease Me, Bro. He's got a little teaser for you today. That's where you can move the lines a little bit. He will tell you what his teaser is when we come back. I've been told the barbecue has arrived.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to make this as quick as possible here, because when Divine Barbecue is in the house, you go to Divine Barbecue. Scott, let's make some money today.
Okay, did you see 34-16 in college? I was on fire last week with NFL too.
Your college pick has nothing to do with this, by the way.
It does.
Nothing to do with it.
It does, because it's about picking winners. That's what I've been doing. Take a snapshot. They've been winning. I'm already onto the barbecue. Hammer, go ahead.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What do you have in your pocket? What is that?
It's a rib tip. Look how beautiful that is. I haven't brought the sauce this time.
Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. If I have the option of David Copperfield making the Statue of Liberty disappear, or Scott Long's ability to pull barbecue out of his pocket, this is where I want to go to. This right here.
So good.
These are my picks. I like the Bengals -3.5. I like the Bills 8.5. These are halftime bets here. Bengals is second half, by the way. Quinnipiac is your degenerate special. The Giants in Minnesota, we're going under. Tampa Bay, Monday night playoff football, getting points at home with Tom Brady. It seems unfair. So these are our picks. Now, for those of you who want to do a little teasing of these numbers, Peter, what do we got?
Well, first of all, people who watched the show earlier in the year, as it relates to Scott's hot streak in college football, if you watched the first half of the year, it seemed like he was just picking names out of a hat. That's how bad his record was.
I wasn't pulling barbecue out of my pocket. That was the change agent.
I'm going to give you credit here. The turnaround, 34-16, that's insane. 68% over the last 14 weeks. It's the whiteboard. The whiteboard turned the whole season around. And I think moving forward, instead of having Scott on the show, we should have Hammer in one chair and Scott's whiteboard in the other. Hammer can just talk to Scott's whiteboard, and whenever Scott makes a pick, we just take a shot of the whiteboard.
Divine Barbecue on the seat. It's perfect.
I'm going to have to get that approved by management, but I like the idea. All right, teaser today. Again, you said it, Hammer. It's basically moving the line 7 points in each direction. I like all three underdogs I'm about to give you here. The Ravens +15.5 against the Bengals, the Giants +10 against the Vikings, and the Buccaneers +9.5 against the Cowboys. As it relates to the Ravens, they were the better team last week against Cincinnati, believe it or not. They just couldn't stop turning the ball over with their rookie quarterback. They get Tyler Huntley, their backup back today, so I like them there. Giants are the better team here than the Vikings. Don't let the spread confuse you. The reason the Vikings are favored is because of that home field advantage in Minnesota, but the Giants are the better team, so we'll take them up to +10. And then you said it, Hammer. I mean, you can't bet against Tom Brady this time of year. 7-3 against the spread and straight up as an underdog career in the playoffs. So I don't mind taking the Bucs money line, but I certainly don't mind taking them up to 9.5. All right, Scott, take your whiteboard, head to the kitchen, and let's go eat some barbecue.
I'm already here. Look at these guys and look at this food. Hey, I don't have to tell you. Just stick around. We are going to eat, and you are going to want to find out where Divine Barbecue is next.
Look at this. Will you just look at it, soak it in? I know you can't smell the barbecue from your living room right now, but if you put your nose up to the TV, you might be able to get a small waft of this. This smells so good. Michelle is here with Divine Barbecue. Michelle, thank you so much. Tell us all about Divine Barbecue.
Well, we started in 2008, so we've been on the west side for 14 years. And
where are you at on the west side? Because west side could mean anything from like the Motor Speedway to 38. I mean, where at exactly?
So we're off of Washington Street 40, out by Plainfield.
Okay.
We're kind of in between Raceway and Girls School Road.
Great.
Right off of 40.
I know the area.
Yeah.
And you know what I love about our guest today? Someone color coordinated with me. Look at this, blue and orange. We got blue and orange there. But I feel like if we're really going to know what your essential elements are, we have to try the food.
Right. So I brought some rib tips.
Okay, could you dump one of those on there? I've already had it. It's amazing. I'm just trying to get an extra one.
That's what we're most famous for, is our rib tips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you've got 3 different sauces down here. There's an M, an H, and an S. I'm assuming this means medium, hot. What's the S?
Sweet.
Sweet.
Yes.
Okay, sweet. So I'm going to take some of the medium right here, and I'm going to pour this on the rib tip. Scott's getting some of the baked beans. There's mac and cheese here. What's this over here?
This is our pulled chicken.
Putting a little bit of the sauce on this.
Yep.
And you notice I did not pull
the chicken.
Out of my pocket.
Good night, everybody.
And I definitely did not pull the baked beans out of my pocket.
There's cornbread. You guys were holding off on the cornbread.
Yes, we have cornbread. We make cornbread also.
Oh, I love cornbread. Now, how do you guys make the food here? What's the process?
How do we make it? Well, everything is homemade.
Okay. So this isn't stuff that's coming off of a truck and sitting there in the freezer for a couple weeks, then you just heat it up. That's not the way you guys do it.
Oh, no. Everything is made from scratch.
Wow.
Our mac and cheese is one of our best products.
The mac and cheese is really spectacular.
And, yeah, everyone comes for the mac and cheese. We've been told that our mac and cheese is so good it must have crack in it.
Oh, wow.
So,
I guess you didn't have to tell us what part of the west side you were from.
Right. We could have figured that out.
right.
You're opening one up on the east side really soon, I promise you.
You didn't hear that in any other shows. So, you have some money down on any of the games this week? Are you a football fan?
I am a football fan.
You're a Colts fan?
I'm a Colts fan.
So you're not really a football fan this year.
Well, no, I'm hoping they come back bigger and better next year.
These rib tips have like a little smoky kind of flavor.
Oh, they're so good.
They're really good.
I thought it was just my suit coat, but I mean, that's really so good.
We have a 13-foot smoker that I smoke on every day. I do the cooking, most of it. Yeah, and everything, like I said, is homemade. We don't do anything frozen.
What are the most popular items? If somebody comes into Divine Barbecue and says, listen, this is the first time I've been here, what do you recommend?
So our rib tips are our signature meat. Our mac and cheese, of course.
Spectacular.
And then we created what we call a porky mac or a chicken mac.
Porky Mac was Scott's nickname in high school.
It was.
I believe.
That's why I played nose tackle.
He was a little thicker back then. It was a different time.
So you layer the meat and the cheese and the mac and cheese and the sauce. And it's our porky mac or chicken mac.
I just did it. I just had chicken mac. Now, how can people find out more about you? How do they, like, is there a website?
They can Google Divine Barbecue. There's a website, but it's really long.
Okay.
Just look up Divine Barbecue in your search
Divine
engine.
Barbecue, yep. And it'll take you to our website. And
what are your hours?
So good.
They kind of vary. We're open Monday through Saturday, but we open every day at 11, and we're open anywhere between 7:30 and 8:30, depending on the day.
Thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you for
in.
coming in.
This is awesome. The best food is barbecue food, tailgate foods. Man, we got some money to make today. We got football games. We got basketball games.
Hey, and tell your friends, 11 o'clock a.m. now that the Colts are gone. That's when All Indiana Bet starts.
Every Sunday at 11, right here on Wish TV. Good luck on your bets, everybody. We're going to have some barbecue.